The fourth word. A word of what? From noon until 3 in the afternoon, darkness came over all the land. About 3 in the afternoon, Jesus cried out in a loud voice, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani, which means, my God, why have you forsaken me? When some of those standing there heard this, they said, he's calling Elijah. Immediately one of them ran and got a sponge. He filled it with wine vinegar, put it on a staff, and offered it to Jesus to drink. The rest said, now leave him alone. Let's see if Elijah comes to save him. This is the word of our Lord. I could have called this fourth word, and I initially did think of calling it a word of anguish. A word of anguish, and I think that fits to some degree, but only to some degree. Because even the word anguish is woefully inadequate. Anguish, even anguish, does not do justice to what Jesus experienced on that day. So the unspoken answer to Jesus' question shows us why anguish doesn't totally describe it. God has forsaken him because he is punishing him for all the sins that I have ever committed. All the sins that you have ever committed. And if we're talking about just one of us, punishment for sin, yes, anguish doesn't begin to express it. Not to mention that Jesus wasn't just paying for the sins of one, but for the sins of the entire world. So, if anguish doesn't do it justice, what word does? What word can describe the wrath and anger bearing down upon a person? Wrath and anger of the holy God for every sin that you have committed. Anguish is used only in the most extreme circumstances to explain and describe the depths of human emotional distress and sorrow and the most painful feelings that you and I have ever had, the most hurt that we have endured. But it doesn't begin to describe what Jesus went through. I don't want to minimize any of the anguish that you may have experienced in your life. I have not experienced it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not minimizing what you have gone through. But seriously, take the worst emotional distress that you have ever faced and multiply that by the worst pain that you have ever endured in your body. And you take that answer, whatever product that is, and you crumble it up and throw it in the trash. Because it doesn't even come close to what Jesus was enduring. Because Jesus was, as he quoted words from the psalm that we just sang, he was being forsaken by the holy God. And so, what word can do it justice if anguish doesn't describe it? I don't know. I seriously don't. So in my text, I left originally just question marks. And then I put in question marks on both sides of the word what. A word of what? And that's probably a good thing, that I cannot contemplate the anguish that Jesus was expressing in these words. It's best that I have no idea what Jesus is facing in all of its entirety. I have a little bit of an idea, but I don't want to know all of it. If such a word existed, and I could comprehend even a tenth of the meaning of that word, I'm certain that the weight of that word would bear down on me and kill me. And so, rather than try to find the right word, we just hear Jesus' words. We listen to them with reverent awe and wonder about his amazing love. That we in reverence and wonder are under his love, that Jesus suffered hell in our place so you and I would not. That is why the Father abandoned him.